Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Frank Menard here from the Menard Team Coaching, and we are powered by the Napoleon Hill Institute. Hey, today's message, we're going to talk about enthusiasm. Yes, enthusiasm, the fuel that ignites the success. The fuel that ignites success. Of course, it's based on Napoleon Hill's principle of enthusiasm. And if success were a fire, then enthusiasm is the spark that lights it and the fuel that keeps it burning. Napoleon Hill identified enthusiasm as one of the essential principles for personal achievement, and for good reason. Enthusiasm is energy in motion. It's passion made visible. It's the emotion that moves people to act, to believe, and to follow. You've seen it before. A leader walks into a room with enthusiasm, and suddenly the energy shifts. People lean in, conversations quicken, possibilities come alive. That's because enthusiasm is contagious. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be ignored. But here's what makes Hill's principle of enthusiasm so powerful. It's not just about being loud or excited. It's about being emotionally involved in what you are doing. Hill said, enthusiasm bears the same relationship to a human being that steam does to the locomotive. It is the vital moving force which impels action. In other words, when you bring genuine enthusiasm to your purpose, your goals, and your daily efforts, you activate a magnetic force. You draw in others, you create momentum, and you tap into reserve energies you didn't even know you had. Now, here's something critical. Enthusiasm doesn't begin in the body. It begins in the mind. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you generate by choosing thoughts that ignite your spirit. You become enthusiastic when you believe deeply in what you're doing. When you can see your goal clearly, you have a clear vision. You remind yourself daily what matters. And you express that belief with action, words, and presence. Be where you are. Enthusiasm has power in every area of life. In sales, it makes your product irresistible. In leadership, it makes your vision magnetic. In relationships, it makes your connections stronger. And in personal growth, it gives you the resilience to keep going when motivation fades. One of the greatest examples of enthusiasm in action was Napoleon Hill himself. He didn't just write about these principles, he lived them with passion, energy, and relentless spirit that carried him through decades of research, interviews, and writing. Hill's enthusiasm for unlocking human potential wasn't just informative, it was transformative. It inspired generations to believe that success wasn't reserved for the lucky few, it was available to anyone willing to ignite their own desire with enthusiasm. Now let's talk about a real life example of enthusiasm. Let's talk about Damon John, who built FUBU with unstoppable enthusiasm. Before he became Shark Tank investor and a self-made multi-millionaire, Damon John was a young man from Queens, New York, with no money, no connections, no formal business education. But what he did have was an unstoppable force, enthusiasm. Damon believed in a vision to create a clothing brand that represented hip hop culture and gave voice to young people who felt overlooked by the mainstream fashion industry. That brand would become FUBU, for us, by us. But in the beginning, it was just Damon and a few friends sewing hats and shirts in his mom's house. No venture capital, no distribution network, just belief, energy, and pure enthusiasm. Here's where the principle really shines. Damon took to the streets of New York, selling FUBU gear by hand. He pitched it to strangers with fire in his voice and conviction in his eyes. He couldn't offer buyers a massive brand name, but he gave them something more powerful, belief backed by enthusiasm. He was so passionate that people started listening and buying and sharing. Eventually, with relentless hustle, Damon convinced rapper LL Cool J to wear a FUBU hat in a national commercial. And that moment changed everything. But what drove all that momentum? Damon John's enthusiasm. His excitement was so real, so infectious, that others couldn't help but be drawn in. He later said, I didn't have resources, but I had resourcefulness. I had energy. I had passion. I had the ability to get people excited about what I was building. Today, Fubu has generated over 6 billion in global sales. And Damon John is a business icon, but he still credits enthusiasm as one of the greatest tools in his success toolbox. Here's a key takeaway. Damon John's story provides exactly what Napoleon Hill taught. Enthusiasm is the vital moving force that impels action. It was enthusiasm, not a big budget, that launched Fubu. It was enthusiasm, not experience, that won over influencers. And it was enthusiasm, not luck, that opened doors that led to global success. Enthusiasm. What a powerful principle. Here's the call to action for this week. Bring enthusiasm to your purpose. What is your purpose? Bring enthusiasm to your purpose. Speak with conviction. Show up with energy. Act as if your dream depends on it. Because it does. Don't wait to feel it. Generate it. Wake up tomorrow with a declaration. Today, I will approach my work, my goals, and my life with full-hearted enthusiasm. Get excited about it. Because when you do, you won't just change your results. You'll change your influence, your impact, and your future. Fuel your mission with enthusiasm and watch the world respond. And of course, as always, we have a poem tied to this principle, and it's entitled The Spark of Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the flame inside, a light no shadow can ever hide. It fuels the dream, it lifts the voice. It turns each moment into choice. It takes the simple and makes it grand. It builds with heart what's shaped by hand. A power that multiplies what we do, igniting hope, making visions true. It's not just passion, it's discipline's friend, a force that carries us all the way to the end. For when our spirit is charged with fire, we lift ourselves and we inspire. So guard that spark, let it always grow. For enthusiasm makes the world glow. With every step in work or play, it drives success in a joyful way. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed our message this week. Enthusiasm is a wonderful word. You get excited just by saying it. So let's get enthusiastic. And I just want to let you know that I really appreciate you showing up to my weekly presentation of a principle as we continue through the series of the 17 keys to success. I want to let you know that I am here to help any way I can. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, give it a share, maybe share it with a friend who could use a little boost of enthusiasm themselves. And last but not least, please subscribe so you'll receive this positive message from me each and every week to help you live your best life. Thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate you. Don't forget that call to action. Tomorrow morning, wake up with enthusiasm and give everything you've got to your purpose. Take care, guys.